Well, hello and welcome to the Purple Door Podcast, a Friends Rewatch Pod. I am one of your hosts, Alistair, alongside my good friend Deanne. Deanne, how are you today?
I'm doing awesome, Al. I mean, it's summer vacation. I've had one full week of vacation at this point, and I am doing a great job doing a lot of random relaxing things. So,
I
how are you?
love that. Good. I'm kind of easing into summer. I'm teaching summer school. I've got one more week of that. And then I'm off. Well, I'm off. I'm off for the summer, but I'm doing various bits and pieces, little things here and there. Um, so I'll be busy, but busy with good stuff. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, which is good. Like it's stuff I've been waiting to do, but I need to work and do. Take care of
Mhm.
responsibilities first. So,
Yes. The
um,
first 3 days of this week were doctor's appointments.
right,
First for George, then for Fred, then for me, and now I've done all my follow up things for next week and
good
then but all
for
the things we have,
you.
not that that's fun, but
It's not fun, but it
productive.
feels good. I've got like a whiteboard over my shoulder with all the things that I need to do, and it's kind of fun. I'm gonna writing them on there, knowing they'll get done in about a week to 2 weeks, and then I'll be able to relax, enjoy the summer. It is hot enough. I did get the pool open and ready um,
Oh, nice.
this week, so I'm kind of excited about that because it was the pump itself had gone out, but I managed to fix that, and then some of the plumbing had broken, so I had to repair the plumbing and always nervous. That's it's quite a lot on your plate. Like if it doesn't
Ye-
work, it doesn't work, and everyone's relying on you to get it done. So thankfully, pool pump is ready. Pipes are not leaking. The water is crystal clear, and I may get in this afternoon. So
that's awesome, good for you.
summer is here.
well
Summer is here when the
well my
pool is open.
Yeah, well, we don't have a pool, but my parents do, and
Right?
they're in California, and I think they're going to Disney. I'm not real sure. My brother and his wife and my niece are at Disney right now, and so we are going to make good use of my parents' pool while
As
they're
you
all
should.
gone having a good time
The
with
only thing
Mickey
better
Mouse.
than owning a pool is being good friends with somebody who owns a pool.
Right? I feel like
You
it's
know,
probably a lot cheaper that way.
a lot cheaper, a lot less hassle, a lot less headache, all of the above. Yeah, definitely. Don't get a pool, be friends with somebody with one. That's the way forward. But this week, I'm glad to be back on with you. Thank you guys who were able to join us, and we had a great time doing our review that came out
Yes.
just over a week ago, I guess, week and a half ago. Um, got a couple of messages from a couple of people, namely Jessica Storm, who's become a good friend of the show, who was really sorry she couldn't make it on, but has listened to it, and she just said she just loved it. She knows how much fun we're having. Had a few technical things. Groceries got delivered, and the dogs barked, and your computer decided to melt down, and this,
Just stop.
just life.
Oh,
But it was awesome. Like it ended up being very authentic, and we just left it as it was, and it
yes,
certainly made me smile. And thank you, Jessica, and others who have reached out.
yes. Thank you. And Al, yes, I listened to the disclaimer that you put on
I did
before.
throw it
And
on
I was like,
there.
because I
No,
feel
but
like I'm such a technical disaster these days.
it's often me, and then it was just funny that it was like the dogs were barking. Kate and I's computers were giving some full back of the sound. Then the groceries. It was like everyone had a little something, and it was just really funny. You know,
It was a mess.
we
Yeah, but
are
it was
we are
so much
authentic.
fun.
It was so much
So
fun.
much fun. And
It
that's
was
the
so
whole
much fun.
point.
Exactly. Well, this week we are discussing the one with the breast milk. And I remembered the main story, but couldn't remember anything like this, the B storyline or anything on this. So I was quite excited to watch it. But as is Purple Door podcast tradition, let's start with a nice good round of Bamboozled.
Okay.
Why don't you go first with a question?
All right. So, my questions are in episode order today. Because
Okay.
normally I kind of jump around and everything, but I was very organized with my question asking. So, to start off, what
Okay.
brand shoes does Monica give to Ben?
Oh,
But it's
yep.
you could see it, and the slogan is said.
Yeah,
So
because they say just do it, right?
right.
Which is this? And is that Adidas or is that in the UK? And for our UK listeners, Nike versus Nike. It's. I'm going with Adidas. No, it's the other one. It's Nike or Nike.
Mhm.
That's it. That's it. All
Very
right.
good.
That was a little more stressful than I planned for question one because it was on the tip of my
Wow.
tongue.
I'm sorry. Oh
No.
goodness.
It's because I kind of knew it, but I knew it was one of the two. Glad I guessed it right. All right, my first question for you: why can't Phoebe go to Bloomingdale's?
Ah, that's my question number 3.
Oh,
Because
nice.
she's got to take her grandma to the
She does, and they don't really explain why. I wish they did. Like, I kind of
vet.
wanted to hear, like, somebody
Yes.
somebody should ask why, and she should come
Yeah.
up with a funny anecdote, but she doesn't.
No, it's just there. So why do Monica and Julie go shopping? Or why does Julie
Oh,
invite Monica and Phoebe to go shopping?
that is because Julie has a friend who is quitting, so he wants to make use of the discount card.
Yes,
Or the
very good.
yes, that's it. All right, this one I'm 99% sure. I'm going to be honest, it's the right answer.
Okay.
What store is Joey Spring cologne samples? Where does he work?
Oh.
And I'll tell you the reason. I'm not. I'm pretty sure. You see the building from outside before they show him inside in one of the scenes.
Okay, is it Macy's?
It's not Macy's, but it's
Okay.
another
Is it
famous.
Bloomingdale's? Like in all my notes, like whenever I write, like whenever they do their transition stuff, I just wrote department store, but
Yes,
not. Oh,
I think you've guessed
is
Macy's and
it
Bloomingdale's.
Bloomingdale's,
It's not, but I think if I give you two more guesses, New York, you're going to get it.
Barney's, or
Nope,
Saks Fifth Avenue?
Saks Fifth Avenue. There it is.
Nice.
Because
Yes.
it says
Which only
Saks.
took 4 guesses.
Yeah, I knew you'd get. It says Saks and Company outside, but I'm
Wow.
guessing that's maybe what Saks is actually called, and it's on Fifth Avenue, so it's known as Saks Fifth Avenue. I was going to Google that and I forgot, but yeah, they show the outside of the building, Saks and Company.
Okay.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
What you got
So
for me?
in the department store, which section is it just known as Joey's territory?
That is my very next question. That would be from Young Men's to the Escalator.
Nice. That
Yes.
is correct.
All right. What is the name of Ben's toy that he can only have after his nap?
Okay. I could not understand if she was saying bunny or buddy.
Ah, well, I did not look at the closed captioning. I thought it was Funny Clown.
Oh my god.
I could be wrong. I mean, that's just
Well,
what
and
I
I
heard.
thought it was so weird because I was like, why does she keep calling that clown Bunny? Or I mean, yeah, Bunny.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe it's Buddy, but maybe it was funny. Cool. I don't
Well,
know.
you got it. You got.
I won't die on that hill. I will
No,
not.
no, as you shouldn't. I'm not sure either, to be honest. Yes.
uh, all right. So what does the onesie say that Susan bought?
My mummies love me.
Very good.
That's right.
Yes.
I had to remember what the scene. Yes. All right. Who does Monica pretend she's on the phone with instead of Julie? Oh, stolen your
That's my
question.
question number 6. Eddie Moskowitz.
Eddie
Moskowitz.
Moskowitz. Yes. I love that. Yes.
All right. How much did lunch with Julie cost Monica?
That would be $53. We've got the same questions. That was my next one.
Okay.
All right, let's see. What do I have for you? Um, it's an icky question, but we're going with it. What does Susan say breast milk tastes like?
cantaloupe juice. That's my question number 8.
A good lord, we've evidently, I don't know.
Yeah, because they're trying not to make it too hard, but not too easy, and here we are.
Yeah, here
It's a
we
very
are.
good mid-level question.
I love it.
All right. Oh, my turn.
Your turn. Your turn.
Okay, what is Hombre's man's real name?
That would be Todd. That's three questions in a row. All right.
Ah.
I personally blame my darling wife. I think because we're both in the same tunnel for what type of questions to ask. That's
Well, my last
superb.
one is hard.
Okay,
So,
and my last one. Well, I'm not going to say anything because if I say it's not the same as yours, it probably will be. So my last one for you is: what does Ross use to chase the breast milk?
mm, it's Oreo cookies.
It
And
is.
and my last question is, how many cookies does he
Ah, I was waiting for a numbers question. Well,
eat?
I'll tell you now, Kate and I had a disagreement about the Oreos, but it wasn't to do with the numbers, and we'll talk about it later on.
Okay,
I'm going to go with three.
it's two.
Two. Oh, I was just taking a
Two.
guess.
And
Three.
I
Two.
would have accepted 1.5.
All right.
Because he shoves the whole one in his mouth and then he picks up another one and then whenever it cuts back to him, that one's half eaten. So,
Interesting. All right. Well,
okay.
that was
That
quite a
was
unique bamboozled.
that
That was
was
awesome.
ridiculous. Okay, hang on. So that was
Yeah.
one, two, three, four, five, six of my 10 questions were repeats.
All right. I'm writing that down so I can let Kate know because she'll find that hilarious.
Hey, you know what? Don't tell her because does she help you come up with your questions?
She did not.
Uh, I was gonna say because I'll send her all of mine and she'll be like, "Wait a minute, those are the
That's right.
same."
No, she won't. She didn't watch this episode with me this week.
Dang.
Our
Okay.
our schedules have been kind of opposite from each other, so we didn't get to watch. But
Aww.
hopefully, oh, it's all good. She's doing a lot of tutoring and things at home, and so she's
I know,
here. But
and
she's
she's loving that. She's
she
very
loves
excited
it.
about
She's
it.
having a great time. So
That's
yeah,
so
be
good.
super awesome. Well, let's get stuck into this episode. Yeah, the one with the breast milk. We start off in the girl's apartment. Um, Carol and Susan are there with Ben. Um, Ben starts to, let's just say, have his lunch because that's what Ross says. And
Yes.
Joey and Chandler pretty uncomfortable with this. Um,
Yeah, they were.
but
They had to go stand by the spoons.
yeah, which I I I don't know. Like I can see Chandler being uncomfortable with it. I don't know why Joey doesn't strike me as somebody who gets his rattled so easily. But there they
Uh,
are. You see him getting a
Yeah, I think that probably the majority of 20 something males that are single and that they would be rattled by that. I just
that's true.
as acceptable and you've got to think too this was 30 years ago
Again.
almost.
True.
Oh my god.
Right.
Oh, that makes me
30
want to throw up.
years. It does.
That's rude.
It
But
is.
times were way different, like the fact that Susan and Carol are so out and open and it
Yeah.
maybe in New York that was normal, but where I grew up that was very hush hush, you know. And
Right.
breastfeeding no, like you don't do that in public. And now, I mean, even 15 years ago, like it was not between my two sons, the acceptability of breastfeeding in public and they're not even in public. But I would think that that would track for any 20 something year old male to just be like,
Right.
ah,
Right. What do you do? Because you don't want to offend or be weird, or yeah. So maybe you're just in that situation where you don't know what to do.
right.
I could see that now that you explain it. Yeah. Um, yeah, but Ross just is like, you know, ask Carol anything, and it's so funny. It's so funny. I do kind of they sort of regress back into being like I don't know,
Yes.
8-year-old siblings. Can
Mm,
Chandler ask you a question, kind of thing.
yes,
Um,
and that was so funny. It was so
yeah,
funny to me. And then their questions like started out genuine and like
right.
curious, and then it was like then you could tell whenever Joey got comfortable. He got
Yes,
comfortable quickly.
right. The questions he truly wanted to ask.
Right. And
Quite
that
something. Joey, good old Joey.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, it was good to see Carol and Susan right there in the opening scene. I quite enjoy seeing them in this episode. Um,
Mhm.
so I was glad they were there. But we do bounce on over to Central Park, where Julie is offering, as you brought up in Bamboozled, so who wants to go to Bloomingdale's to abuse
Okay,
her friend's discount card?
now at the end of the last episode that we talked about, do you remember what happened at the end with
Yeah, the last
Phoebe
episode with
and
Phoebe.
Julie? Julie asks Phoebe to cut her hair, and she says she wants it like
Yes,
Andy McDowell. And
yes.
then
Planet
she
of the
asks,
Apes and all that.
uh,
Yes.
yes, yes. Okay, and so yeah, because it was Andy McDowell, and so she's like four weddings and a funeral, and then Rachel's like, no, it's Rodney McDowell, and
Yeah,
Andy McDowell is the one from.
right.
Okay,
I
and so
forgot
did you
about that.
notice her hair's short
Yes, yes,
in
yes,
this
I forgot
episode?
about that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So she got her hair cut from Phoebe.
she did get her haircut. I love that. That's kind of awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But she's there. She's just as kind as could be. It seems Julie is. I mean, just
Oh, and whenever she fixes Rachel's apron, yeah, oh, you're busy, and
right. She just fits right in, but Rachel's not having it.
no,
Uh,
she's not, and I
no.
don't. I mean, I get it. I get it. I feel
Yeah,
like anybody would get it. Is
I
it
think
right?
so.
No, but
I
yeah.
do love the way whose is it Chandler that kind of goes, "Oh, that'd be like cheating on Rachel in her house of worship." Yeah, such a great description of how much Rachel loves Bloomingdale's.
Yes, which is so funny because she'll
Mhm.
end up working there later, and I love
Right.
that.
Yeah, kind
Yes.
of a full circle moment for her. It's
Uh
just
huh.
wonderful. Now, I had a quick question for you. I was thinking about this earlier. So, if you had a discount card, let's say the discount is 20%, maybe even 30%, because I know
Cool.
that's what she gets at Ralph Lauren later, because I think it was 30. Let's say 20 or 30%. If you could have a discount card for any store for the rest of your life, what store would you want, say, 20 to 30% off?
Target. Target.
Target?
Target. Because I'll tell. I worked at Foley's, which was a department store. I feel like I talked about this
We've
before.
mentioned Foley's, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And I bought so many shoes and clothes and like it was ridiculous because we got a really good discount. I think it was like 40. I mean, it was a good discount.
Right.
And then, you get stuff on clearance, so then you'd get that on top of that and you'd pay almost nothing. So,
Right.
and my feet are small enough to where I can wear the biggest size of kids shoes. So I had just it was stupid how many things I bought. But being an adult now, I feel like I would be more responsible with a discount card.
Right.
And I feel like Target is a good, solid, responsible discount card to have.
Indeed.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
that's very responsible of you,
I'm
must say.
so grown up now.
You are very
So
proud
grown
of
up.
you. Look
An
at you.
adult. Yes.
Good old
But
Target.
if we could just do one just for fun,
Yes.
yes, I think I would want. Oh, what is the name of that? It's so not Hot Topic, but it's another little shop like that, and it's got like Disney
Spencer's?
stuff and no, no, no.
No. Oh
It
no.
does not have the scary back room that you don't
Okay. Oh, we
that
don't
that
do.
George has to be directed away from. It's
Understood.
not. No, no, but like they have anime stuff and Harry Potter stuff and but all that it's box lunch. Have you ever been in
I,
that
I've
store?
not. I know the name. I've never been. Never seen one. I don't think.
Ah, I just think it is such a fun, cute, quirky store, and I would love if I could just blow money in there. That's where it would
Right.
be.
It would be to box
Yes,
lunch. I
but
love
my
that.
responsible adult answer is Target.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, but I kind of like that boxed lunch one. I think that sounds fun.
Yes, yes.
Yes. But it probably wouldn't be to Saks Fifth Avenue, which is where Joey seems to be, where he's giving out these cologne samples. In the next scene. Um, yeah, obviously, just he's just trying to make some money, pay some bills between, his, between acting gigs, I guess. But yeah, Annabelle comes in. Um, who knows how long she's worked there? Actually, he's worked there, I suppose, but he's definitely trying to put the moves on her. But the Ombre
Mhm.
Man comes in. Um, this is a it's quite a good character. Like I think this guy he plays it quite
Yes.
well. He I've forgotten his name. Unfortunately, he passed away about a decade ago. I
Oh.
looked him up. He had like not congentive. What's the word? Congenerative liver failure. So passed away at a fairly young age, in his 40s, I
Oh.
think.
Ugh.
But yeah, did it. I mean, I thought played this role exactly how it needed to be
Oh,
played.
absolutely. And then
Yeah.
whenever he breaks character, whenever
Yes.
his
Yes.
character that he's playing breaks the character, like it's fantastic.
When he
It's
becomes
it's
Todd. Yeah.
yes, good old Todd.
Good old Todd.
Yes, it's excellent.
Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I see the name Todd, we'll take the listeners onto a very quick rabbit hole. When I was single and Kate and I were dating, I bought two. They're just the ugliest kind of African inspired, but kind of just crap looking big kind of wooden masks because I thought they were hideously ugly and they weren't like Five Below or some like these were just knockoff reproductions, cost it maybe even like a yard sale or something. But I just had to get them because they were kind of hideous. And to this day, they hang outside of the back door, and they're Steve and Todd. I don't know how Kate and I gave them their names. We don't quite remember. I don't think, but they're Steve and Todd, and they live out back.
How funny.
So you
How
don't see the
funny.
name Todd too often, but when I do, we think of the ugly mask that is out back. So
That's funny.
that's
Wow.
that. But
What a random purchase. Like
yeah, there was no reason for them. There was no. We just saw them. Thought, yeah, I'm going to get those. Why not? And the story of them over a decade later lives on. Steve and Todd. I'll need to send you a picture of them. Unless you know they're outside, you don't really see them, even though they're about 3 feet tall. They're
oh,
they're really skinny and about 3 feet tall, but they're kind of hidden. So um,
how are you putting baby in the corner? Steve and Todd
both
in the
babies,
corner?
Steve and Todd, are in the corner because we
Wow.
can't get rid
The
of them.
nerve.
Yeah, maybe I'll need to post a picture on our Instagram of Steve and Todd out
Yes.
there. Maybe we'll
I
have to
I
do that.
feel like Steve and Todd might be our new mascots.
That's
I'm
right. I like that. The mascots for the pod. Well, let's see. We go back to Central Park. Monica comes in. I think she's got two bags. I think one is Bloomingdale's and one is. Remind me, which is it? Macy's that has the big brown bag.
uh,
Is
no,
that the bag that
no,
obviously says
no,
no?
that's Bloomingdale's.
Is that Bloomingdale's too?
Because earlier in one of the episodes I asked where she had been shopping, and
That's
it was
right.
because it was Bloomingdale's is the one that says the big brown bag.
That's it. Yeah. So she has one
Robin.
of each, um, and kind of tries to get Phoebe in on this lie. To tell her, they were
Yes.
shopping there for far. Um, just, just
Boobs. Then
Phoebe's
fraud.
not quite. Yeah, Phoebe's struggling to get on board with the lie. I think like she's not quite locked in on what she needs to be saying.
Right,
Uh,
but she knew it was important to ask, well, what did I eat?
right. No wonder I'm not full or something. No wonder I'm hungry.
Yeah, like yeah. Well, and I was like, wow, huh. Like if my friend came in and said that to me, I'd be like, "Sounds good," and then you could say whatever you want, and they're gonna go along with it, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't. Mm.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where a friend's been like, "Hey, Al, just pretend like this is a situation and do
God,
it."
I must have been. I can't think. All I can think about, honestly, is I wish I could remember which comedian it was. I just saw it online a few days ago about how every guy needs that best friend, and if you give him the look, then that best friend needs to know that whatever you say is the truth at that moment, and you just need to go with it. But I'm trying. I must have been in that situation. That's a
Mm.
great question. I'll need to think about it, and
Yeah.
if it pops in my head, I'll let you know.
Mm.
What about you? Has it ever come across your life where you've needed to just lie for the greater good?
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm sure it has.
yeah,
But that's the whole thing. See, like Joseph and I, we've got to look. Like,
right,
listen, listen. Like, if something sounds amiss, you go with it. We'll talk about it later.
right,
You know?
absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
And your wife and I had a look like that too.
I have
Whenever we
no
were
doubt.
together, and but most of the time it was, what the heck is happening right now? We're going
Yes,
to talk about this later.
right. Put this in the vault to crack open in a few
Yes,
hours. Yes,
yes. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's pretty typical, right?
I think
And
so. I mean,
but
Kate and I certainly do, but Phoebe's, yeah,
no.
it's taking her a little while to connect here with Monica.
Yeah, which
Um,
is kind of sad because, I don't know. Monica should have just been honest from the
yeah,
beginning.
absolutely.
But I understand why she didn't after watching the end, and we'll get to that, but
Right. Yeah,
makes
she's
for
trying to
a funny little scene.
it does. She's trying to protect Rachel. I get it, but sorry, the dog's barking, but lying to protect your friend. I
Hmm.
don't know. Probably not going to end well, as we see. Yeah, we pop back over to sex. Joey asks Annabelle out in this scene, but she's already got plans with the Ombre man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, poor old Joey. Not probably not. I don't know. In the realms of Joey, what percentage of women do you think go out with him when he asks? I can't decide if it's all the women because he's so charming, or if he's just shooting his shot all over the place and gets shot down a lot. What do you think?
I think he probably gets shot down a lot.
Right.
And I think he just doesn't care. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Because
absolutely.
it doesn't it he's just like, "Oh man." Well, and then he makes the comment to that guy, it's not the first time I've been turned down because of a
Yes.
cowboy or something, and it's like
Yeah.
what?
It's so funny.
But yeah, I think he probably asks a lot of ladies out, and
Yeah.
if you uh, the more you ask, the more your odds will
Yeah.
go up. Like somebody's gonna say yes, and so
Yeah. I think that's I agree. He's not one to get to feel upset or sad if somebody says no. He'll just move on. I think. Um,
or wait until the cowboy gets fired and ask her
that's
out
right.
again.
That's right. And then just swoop on in.
Yeah,
Um, I quite like this next scene. We go back to the girls' apartment, and Carol, you can tell, is nervous about leaving Ben with Ross. This is when he should sleep, or when he can have what do we call him? Not funny clown, fuzzy clown, whatever we decided the clown's name was.
right.
Um, but I quite like the fact that Susan sort of sticks up for Ross a bit.
And
Um,
then that quick line, whenever I get, you can't even see Ross's face. Whenever she's like, "I'm actually a good person."
right. To me, you see this like this. It's a bit more than a hint of like dry humor that's very funny. Like she
Hmm.
says it quite deadpan delivery, which I think is really really funny.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, so good on her for sticking up of sorts for Ross.
Yes,
Um,
and then I also love. He's like, it's like we're father and son.
right.
Ah,
It's such a good moment. The phone rings. Monica answers the phone, and it's Julie. But Monica again panicking about lying in front of Rachel. Goes, "Hey, Jew. Hey, Jew. Ah, Eddie Moskowitz," which I'm convinced is a real name or somebody. There'll be some Eddie Moskowitzes around. I'm sure.
I'm
Um,
sure. But that was so funny because she's like, "Did you just say, hey, Jew?" Like, is it just what? And then she,
right.
what a crazy lie! What a crazy lie! But it was so funny.
Yeah, here you go. But there was an Eddie Moskowitz from New York. He was an actor. He was in The Golden Girls, in Sybil, on the Larry Sanders Show. Could be he was nominated for 8 Emmys. Might be a
No,
coincidence,
no way, no way,
but
no
that is
way
yeah,
that that's
Eddie
a.
Moskowitz.
There's no way that that's a.
A coincidence? I don't think so. I
No,
think that has
no.
to be yeah, yeah. In
Mhm.
not a big actor, but he was certainly a New York guy and in several shows. Well known shows, maybe in lots of other stuff too. But yeah, that's got to be a little tip of the hat to that Eddie Moskowitz. Um, but yeah, reaffirms his faith, which is it's quite a clever line. I like that one. Um, yeah, we're still there. It's Ben's dinner time. So Phoebe heats up the milk and then checks it on her wrist, and
Mhm.
again a meltdown with let's see, I think it's Chandler and Rachel who
And
are the
Ross.
main, and Ross. That's right, the main culprits of
Yeah.
the panicking.
What did you do?
Yeah, and
No.
it's odd. I. I don't know how I would react in that situation if I would think it was odd or not. To be honest, I don't know what the norm is. Um,
Yeah.
I've only ever had my children. It's
Mhm.
very rare. I don't know. It just I'm not sure what my reaction would be or would have been in that situation, but it's very funny.
Well, it's hilarious. Like
Yeah.
everything about that is hilarious. But what I will say is that that was a very strange way to test the temperature, to lick it.
That
because
okay, that's a good point.
because you know, whenever you test the temperature, you put it on your wrist, and
Yeah,
I
that's what I
felt like
remember
she was
doing.
doing it up high because it's more sensitive down there, down
Right.
lower on your arm, and you put that to feel if it's hot, right? But
Right.
like it didn't make sense to me that she licked it,
Yeah, I
and
would
then
agree with you. It's
that I think it was, but I mean, I don't know. I
again,
just little.
maybe she doesn't know how many babies has she really been around, so she thinks that that's the best way to test it. I don't know yet. When
Or
my
maybe to get it off instead of wiping it on your
That's
shirt
a good
or
point.
yeah. I don't know. It
Yeah.
just seemed weird. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's I my daughters when they were little, yeah, it was just on the wrist is
Mhm.
what it did. Um Yeah, but Joey doesn't see it as a big deal. We kind of cut to the next scene, which is still in the girls' apartment, and Rachel and Monica just got home by herself from having lunch by herself, having some. I can't remember how she phrases it now, but some quality time with me, or just some good time with me. But unfortunately, she had borrowed Rachel's jacket and left some damning evidence in the pocket.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, as we know, receipt for $53 from Bamboozled. Um, which it's funny because I guess if Kate and I were going to go out for lunch, that now seems probably about what we would pay. If we went somewhere just kind
Mhm.
of middle of the road. But of course, this was 30 years ago, but also New York.
Right.
So
So can you
you know,
imagine what a lunch would cost now in New
right,
York?
right, wherever they went.
What?
Um,
Oh my God. Eating out's
yeah,
so expensive now.
Yeah, Kate and I, we've kind of got it down to we know a very good Mexican place that is you, the price is fair and the quality is excellent. So we'll go there for lunch.
Oh.
Um,
Where? Do share.
good. Well, if anyone from Mazatlan on University
I
Drive,
love that
you
place.
love Mazatlan, right?
Yes,
The way
yes.
I,
And at
yeah,
lunch they give you the little cup with the queso and then the beans and
right. And
excellent.
Kate and I go there for a little over $20, and we usually have food left over for dinner.
Yes.
And I always think that it is, well, before we started. Not that we go often, but if we go, it's always really full at lunchtime, which always tells me that the people who work around it, that's where they go for lunch, which is my kind of place. So yeah, we go to Mazatlan if we're going to go out for lunch. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about now. Kate and I might have to go tomorrow at this rate
Yeah.
because it's so good.
Yeah.
It's really close to our house. It's maybe a mile, if
Oh
that.
man.
So yeah.
Hey, yeah,
Mhm.
we should all meet there for lunch.
Let's
Like
do that. All right.
week after next, because you'll be done.
Yeah,
The
I'll be down next Thursday in about a week. Yeah, text Kate.
Yep.
Let's get together.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yep. We'll do
All
it.
right. But she's come back from lunch. It's $53, but she tries to pretend like she just went herself. But Rachel catches her, and Monica can't lie anymore, and has to admit that she she went with Julie. And I do love the way that this is scripted. It's like a husband and a wife, and one has been caught having an affair.
Uh huh.
You know, the
Uh huh.
kind of the language they use. So it's very, very well done.
Mhm.
And Rachel, it was genuinely heartbroken. It seems.
Yes.
Um, yeah, she's not, doesn't come across as mad necessarily. It's just is
That's,
upset, feels
mhm.
a bit betrayed.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, they don't resolve this at that moment in time. They're definitely upset with each other. Um, but let's see, we're still in the girls' apartment in the next scene, and I love the fact that it's Chandler and Ross, right? They're kind of asleep on the side of the playpen, whatever it is
Yes.
that Ben is asleep in.
Yes.
Um, and just again a lovely bit of physical comedy when Carol and Susan open the door and they kind of startle awake.
Yes.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
okay. Did you catch that Monica was on the phone with the cafe with Central Perk?
no, I don't think I caught that.
Yeah, she was calling because she's trying to find Rachel because Rachel left. Well, and so then she's on the phone with Joanne and she's like, I just wanted to check and see if she was there. And she's, I can't believe you. Well, it's what I imagined she said, because we only hear
Right.
Monica's side. But but she that was terrible that you did that to her. And then she's like, well, okay, I just need to know if she's there. And she's like, well, Steve is not happy either. And so it's like I imagine that those are random people she works with at Central Park.
I wonder if that was cut out of the streaming
Oh,
one.
I
Might
don't
be,
know.
I mean, or I missed. But you've just revealed, that's big news, that as I told you a few minutes ago, my masks outside are Steve and Todd. So this
Wow!
episode gets Steve and Todd.
Oh my gosh! It,
Wow.
it it is. It's our new. It's the new mascot.
They're the new
I'm just
mascots.
saying.
That's it. I will
Mhm.
send you. Send you a picture and post a picture later on.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So that bit I didn't see.
Whenever we go live before this episode comes out,
Yes,
we need to go live with them in the background.
we'll show you Steve and Todd.
There you
Absolutely,
go.
we'll do
Yes.
that. That's a good idea. I like
Uh
it.
huh. Uh huh.
But yeah, Carol and Susan show back up, and they continue the breast milk. I've written down they continued the breast milk discussion. Can't quite remember. Oh, that's right. Ross is he's gonna bow up, or he's gonna try it. And I do like this scene as well, because you think he's gonna do it, and he's like, "Pass me the towel," and rubs it off, and throws it on the ground.
And then
Um,
he leaves. And did you notice where he goes?
I thought you went to Monica's bedroom.
Okay, that's what I wrote down in my notes.
Yeah,
But I thought that was so weird.
yeah. Why is
And
he going in there?
oh, okay. So I was fast forwarding to whenever they get trapped in the bedroom,
Yes,
and because Rachel and Ross are fighting, and so everybody's in the and they are in Monica's room, and so that is
that's
Monica's
right.
bedroom.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's odd. Maybe he was just kind of meant to sort of exit the shot, and
Mhm.
somehow that kind of got left in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because why would he go in there? It doesn't make
Yeah.
too much sense. Um,
But okay, and another piece is Susan was actually pretty funny in this episode because whenever she sits down and then Carol says, so my breast milk is gross, and Susan like crosses her legs. She's like, "This will
yes,
be fun."
yes, yeah. Again, it's kind of dryish humor that I like, and she delivers it well. A couple
Yes.
of great lines from her.
Yes.
Um, and I think it's interesting. I like how well. Well, I would. She and Ross don't get on. I guess we don't really see them interacting too much, but she's clearly not got anything. I don't know against Ross.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe it's just
As
there's a
she
comfort there.
shouldn't.
She shouldn't. She shouldn't at all.
And
Uh,
I'm still on the that they manipulated him into having the baby,
yeah.
and I no, she shouldn't have anything against him.
No, she shouldn't. It's nice to see that they've come out the other side of this. Because yeah, she was. I wasn't her biggest fan in the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, Ross walks away, and then we do come to I think my favorite scene of this whole episode. I think it's the only time we are in the boys' apartment, where Joey walks in head to toe like he's in the white cowboy outfit.
Yes, I love this
And
scene.
this scene again, just acting like they're in an old saloon in
Yes.
I don't know Tombstone, Arizona. The way they slide the juice, you know,
Uh-huh. Yes,
it's so well
and he's
done.
pouring it from the box into the glass.
Yes, and the towel over the shoulder, all of it, so
Mhm.
well done.
Yes.
This definitely my favorite scene of this whole episode.
Yes, it's a good
Um,
one. Here you
it's
go,
so well
Miss
done.
Kitty.
That's right. She'll sort you out, Miss Kitty. Um, just it's so good. Now we go to Central Park, and I was gonna check on IMDb, and I haven't. This might be the first time we see the outside of Central Park. Um, I don't know if we've seen it before, and I didn't think about it other than the fact that I rewound this scene because they have like a scheduling board outside, and you could only see two things. I was going to ask you this, but it was too tricky for Bamboozled. On Wednesday, Phoebe Buffay plays on Wednesday evenings. On Tuesday, they have poetry night um, at Central Park. Those are the only two I think you can see on the board. But then I
Okay,
got
wait.
thinking, yes,
Okay, so no, we've seen the outside of Central Park before
okay.
because there was like a USA Today um, newspaper holder thing whenever they were standing outside going inside. Um,
Oh, that rings a bell. Yeah, I can't
mhm,
quite remember
mhm.
when it is, but that does ring a bell.
Yeah, but there's two characters that are outside and they're talking, and then they go inside, and it's just briefly, but it's just a brick outside with the window there.
That's right.
So now I
Yes,
want to go back and watch because that doesn't even like I don't remember that at all.
right.
Like seeing anything outside.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
is
Well,
it like a shot from the outside or is anybody outside?
so yeah, it's shot from the outside, and it's where Monica and Rachel start talking. I can't remember exactly what they say, but then they kind of continue the argument inside. Like Rachel's maybe putting up the sandwich board thing. I'm not sure what
Oh,
she's doing.
yeah. Huh.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
like I said, I could be wrong. I just couldn't think of
No,
another
I
time.
don't think you are. I don't think you are, but
Yeah,
now I'm going to go back and look. Um
yeah,
because it yeah, cuz then I'm like what is she doing? And then she went and followed her in but she was working.
yeah. She followed her in, and then they kind of have their moment where they, especially Rachel, lets her guard down a bit and explains why the whole
Yes.
thing's upsetting her. And Rachel probably should have handled it differently, I guess. But I've got a lot of sympathy for her. She's dealing with a lot
Mhm.
of emotions for the first time, I suspect.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Going through these things again. She's had a pretty privileged life. Um, She says at some point, she's never asked a guy out and he said no, or things like that. Pretty sheltered. So yeah, she's dealing with a lot of things that maybe other people would have dealt with as a teenager or something.
Mhm.
So definitely have some time for Rachel in this moment. But they cry and they make up, and Phoebe jumps in for the hugs as well. She doesn't want to feel left out.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, she's so funny. I know this has nothing to do with me, but and I'm
right, I'm jumping in
sweet.
anyway. Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
as she should. We go back over to sex, and Joey and the ombre guy are going to have the standoff. Again, I love the music. I love the way they kind of set this up with this Western theme. And Ombre Man sprays the customer right in the eyes.
Yes, and the
Um,
only reason Joey's malfunctions.
that's right, like his
So it's
gun
like
jammed.
divine intervention.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, it's so well played out, like a scene from the OK Corral.
Yes.
I love it. But then, so we find out that his name is Todd, and he's basically fired at that.
I'm
He's
such
done.
a doofus.
A doofus, old Todd. But how long has Joey been at work before he decides to take Annabelle out for a cup of coffee? I mean, a matter of seconds, and he's already taken a break.
Right. Right.
Right. And
But
again, I love the story. I love the way they have that sunset on the wall.
yeah.
You
And
know,
they're playing the music as they're riding off into the sunset to
yeah,
go get their coffee now that the store's open.
yeah. I just love that the doors have been opened for seconds, and he's all right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let's go for a coffee. Let's let's
Uh-huh.
not worry about that. So I
Yes.
kind of love it. We go back over to Central Park. Rachel and Julie are on the couch, and Rachel thinks that they should get to know each other. I thought this was a really cool thing of Rachel because she could have kind of glossed over things when Julie said, I kind of got the feeling you didn't like me. It would have been very easy for Rachel to go, oh, no, no, I've always liked you. I'm just shy or quiet. But she kind of admits it, or she does admit it. She says, you're not
She
wrong.
does.
She does. And it's like
Yeah.
that's to me shows some growth. She wants to deal with this because Julie herself is really not the problem. Um,
Mhm.
it's the situation, and kudos, as they say to Rachel for this. I think, um, but yeah, Julie invites her to a movie sometime, but then I think Rachel does then say something else under her breath,
Yeah, she
doesn't
does.
she? Yeah, she
As
kind of
soon
goes
as
back.
she leaves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
manipulative. Not
yeah,
nice
that's right.
words.
Nah, nah,
Mhm.
that's right. So that's a funny one because I don't think she's just being nice to her face because she did have that difficult conversation. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
she's just wrestling with the fact that she knows she's a nice person but doesn't
Yeah.
want to like her.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I get that. Like,
yeah. It's tricky,
yeah.
tricky situation.
Mhm.
But then we end this episode. We're back in the girl's apartment, and Ross finally tries the breast milk. He plucks up the courage, um, gives it a shot, chases it with the Oreo and a half, as you said.
Yes.
Um, and I will say, so this is where I'm going to note this time down for a reason. I'll tell you in a second. I thought they were mint Oreos. I was sure those Oreos were green, which in my head was a mint Oreo.
Mentoria,
But
right.
then Kate said, she's like, I don't think they had mint Oreos in the early 90s. I think those are a more recent thing. Like not brand new, but not 30 years old. So of course I then Googled Oreos, and this led me down a bit of a rabbit hole. But before I tell you the fascinating information I found out about Oreos, a quick shout out to my good friend Derek Lugo. He is currently hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, which essentially goes
Oh.
from the border of California and Mexico up to Canada. He is on the trail. He is Oreo obsessed. He won't mind me
Amazing.
saying all Oreos, Post Malone Oreos, the double stuffed Oreos. He's a vegan, and that's like his special treat. They are a vegan friendly food. He loves a good Oreo, anything about them. So this section of brand new information is in his honor as he is currently hiking through California,
Nice.
somewhere in the Sierra Mountains. Um,
How awesome. Way to
yeah,
go.
he's a published author. He's written a really cool book called The Unlikely Thru Hiker. If you just Google the Unlikely Through Hiker, you'll find his book. Um, super, super cool. But yeah, I thought they were mint. Kate disagreed, not because she didn't think they were green or I was wasn't seeing it, but just because of the date. Um, and here's another thing that I thought was quite funny because I looked up the name Oreo, like where did it come from? Nobody really knows. There's several different theories, including one coming from the French word that means gold, because the tin that they used to come in was a gold tin, or the Greek word oros, which means mountain. But these are all just like weird theories. Mountain doesn't make sense, but it's just a very similar word. I assumed something to do with the fact they're round. But here's something I didn't know: that the Oreo was first developed and produced by the National Biscuit Company, which later got abbreviated to Nabisco. And that's where that comes from. In 1912 in Chelsea, New York, and it's located on Ninth Avenue between 15th and 16th Street, and that area of the street has actually been renamed Oreo Way. In 2002, they ceremoniously renamed it Oreo Way, which I kind of liked. But by 2017, more than 40 billion Oreos were being produced annually in 18 different countries. And I ended up going on this down this rabbit hole of all the flavors that have ever been produced. And don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with all of those. But some of the more interesting limited edition ones were Reese's peanut butter ones, Swedish fish Oreos, right? Peeps Oreos, and
Gross.
cinnamon roll Oreos, and there was so many other limited edition ones
Mhm.
that were just done for promotional purposes. So I found that I ended up looking at this for like 30 minutes. The history of the humble Oreo.
Yeah. Well, and whenever I happen into Walmart and I'll see like a new kind or something like that, sometimes
Yeah.
I'll pick up a bag. Oreos don't last but 2 days in our house because
Yeah.
with the boys and Joseph, it's gone. We bought Selena Gomez Oreos this week.
And how were
So
those?
they taste like cinnamon.
Interesting. There's a very funny comedy sketch out there. I'll need to find it and send it to you about a guy who is a stand up comedian. He loves Oreos, but he made the mistake of reading the serving size, which is like two Oreos. And he's like, that's what I eat on the way to the couch to eat Oreos. It's really, really well done. I'll need to find it and send it to you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yes. And
But
then I'll share it with the boys.
yeah. Now, am I right in saying maybe before we got in the air, you said that you did a little research into something? Oh, that's right.
Oh, I
Yes.
did.
Yes.
I did
Tell us.
about the health benefits of breast milk.
Yeah, and I know
So,
nothing other than they make soap or some things. That's it. So I'd love for you to tell us.
okay. So, people who have had babies know that it'll, like, the chances of having obesity or asthma, type 1 diabetes, things like that, go down dramatically through that. But
Right.
then there's
Interesting.
this whole other situation where breast milk is used for adults, um, with eczema, which would explain your soap thing. Um,
Interesting.
But
Okay.
it'll also, and then if ingested, it's supposed to help with adult immune system and then your gut health.
Hmm.
But a lot of, that's frowned upon because if you are buying, there are places to buy breast milk online, like where you can go and purchase
Hmm.
breast milk that people have expressed and put online to sell. But whenever you're doing things like that, then you don't necessarily know what it is that you're getting. So all
Right.
that, like, I guess frowned upon or not, uh, you know, whatever the word is.
Right.
But that the eczema and the and other like skin ailments, a breast milk's supposed to help
Interesting. I mean, it kind of makes
with.
sense. Like it kind of,
Hmm.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. There you
But
go.
yeah, and then in some, if you start running down a rabbit hole, you'll find people who have said that there's a certain tumors and certain types of cancers and things like that that it can help correct. But
Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to believe all that stuff. Like the solutions to some of our big medical ailments in society have an easy solution that can
Yeah.
be found in the natural world. But
Well,
uh,
it's a lot
yeah.
cheaper that way.
That's right. There's no money to be made, which is
Yeah.
a whole other thing we could discuss.
Yes.
Um, but what about your Gunther Central Park? Where did you land this week?
Okay, so my Gunther Central perk this week was Monica. And
Okay,
I don't like that she lied at the first, but she's in a hard place and she just kind of landed in it.
right.
Because she's just trying to be nice and normal and you know, and then it was hilarious. And it's one of those episodes where like whenever her and Rachel are having this scene and they're like she asks her, "Did you go to Bloomingdale's?" and she like covers her
Yes,
mouth and it's so funny. It's so good. So anyway, Monica is my
I
pick.
like it. That's a good choice. She was my second. Um, Slightly controversial. I think this is playing within the fictitious rules we have, but I'm going with Susan.
Okay. Okay.
She's not in it much, but I like the fact that she sticks up for Ross a bit,
Mhm.
and it was bang for the buck in terms of lines. She only has a couple of lines, but I think they're
Yeah.
really funny. They're either funny or
Yeah.
good. Like as you
Yeah.
said, the one about oh this should be fun, and the way she lays back, and I'm
Yeah.
really a nice person. The delivery was great. So for only having three or four lines, most of them were great. So I decided to give a little love to Susan this week,
I love it.
and do that. Um,
Excellent.
but yeah, how many cups of Central Park roast are we putting together for you?
7 mugs with an espresso shot.
All right, I like it.
Mhm.
I like it when you do the extra espresso shot. It's like you're probably going to say seven, but it didn't feel right. You
It
know,
didn't feel right. It felt a
didn't
little
feel right.
low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it does feel right for me. I've landed on seven too. I didn't dislike the episode by any means, but I felt it was. I hate saying average because even an average episode has really, really funny bits. We
Well, an
wouldn't, you
average
know.
would be 5, right?
Oh, that's true.
Average
That's
would be
true.
5.
Yeah,
So,
and we wouldn't be doing this podcast if we didn't love even the
even
medium episodes.
exactly.
So so it feels a little bad to give it seven, but even 7 out of 10 is a good. It's a passing grade.
It is. It
It's a
is.
good score in my books. This
Mhm.
there's just funnier ones. Um, but well, not to give anything away, but speaking of funnier ones, I think next week, the one where Mr. Heckles dies.
Oh goodness.
I don't know if it's funnier because I don't remember all, but I know I'm looking forward to this episode um, because of one of the story arcs. Um,
Okay.
and getting to
Is
see,
it the Chandler one? Because that's the only one I
yeah,
can remember.
yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, I haven't watched this in a while, but I'm
Okay.
sure it's the one where Chandler essentially has sounds like a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
it must be.
midlife. Yeah.
Yes, so it must
Yes.
be. But any final thoughts before we wrap this week up?
No, no,
No?
I'm excited. Like
I'm
this was a
excited.
good one. Last week was a good one, and I can't wait to talk about the third one. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking through the next couple, and yeah, we've got some good stuff to talk about. Season 2 is going to be off to a strong start.
yes, excellent.
Excellent. Well, on that note, everybody out there, thank you guys very much for listening to the Purple Door podcast.